Congressman Goss.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Director Tenet, how long have you been the DCI?
5 years and a few months, sir.
That gives you longevity on the panel, then, of time held in the job. Is that correct?
I believe so, yes, sir.
How many DCIs were there immediately preceding you in the period of the 90s?
I believe it was 4 in a period of 7 years.
4 in a period of 7 years. So we have 5 DCIs, and you've had 50% of that during the decade of the 90s. Is that about right?
There was actually 4 in the 90s. 4 DCIs in the 90s.
4. A lot of change going on. Some of those previous DCIs said that they didn't have much access to the White House. I think some recall a joke about, now a bad joke, but a joke at the time about a small plane that crashed near the White House as the director of the DCI tried to get in to see the president. Do you remember that story going around? My question goes to this. You asked you made a comment about the seriousness of the war. You certainly made it clear to the oversight committees. I don't think there's any mystery in the oversight committees, those of us who were also here during the longevity of your tenure, about this problem. There's really not a whole lot new that's come out of this for those of us who have been focused on it. My question that has haunted me, and I imagine has haunted you, is how come nobody listened in '98 at the right level? Why didn't we get out of OMB, why did not we get out of the people who are making the decisions an awareness that we needed to reinvest, that we were dangerously underinvested, that we were letting capabilities slide, that our technology was falling behind? It was clear. I'd love to have your answer, and I would be very happy to have Director Mueller's and General Hayden's as well, but I'm not sure Director Mueller
Look, sir,
had been there long enough.
I can't speak to what the reaction was to our requests. I think that you really have to talk to people who are making judgments on what we were asking for. I think that this is an endeavor where if you don't make the investments, you can't function at the level you need to function at. I think we made that case as compellingly as we possibly could, and I believe that whether there was a deficit that was at stake, whether there were budget caps that were at stake, whatever the reasoning was, we just needed more support than we received.
What's the primary function of the federal government? It is national security, isn't it?
Security.
Guarantee the safety and well-being, liberty of the people of the United States of America?
Sure.
Okay. Shouldn't that be job one? And shouldn't the leaders be listening? Okay, my second question then. General Hayden, you said something about bin Laden coming across the bridge, hypothetical, of course. But I take that to mean that if bin Laden did come, there would be capabilities that we have that we can use elsewhere in the world that we cannot use in the United States of America. Is that correct?
Not so much capabilities, but how agilely we could apply those capabilities. The person inside the United States becomes a U.S. person under the definition provided by the FISA Act.
Special protections, according to your testimony.
Special protections then apply. There are procedural steps that one can identify such a person as the agent of a foreign power, but one's got to go through those procedural steps. Now, take that metaphor and apply it to somebody without the persona of Osama bin Laden, and you can see the challenge of trying to cover people inside U.S. borders, even if they will us harm.
Well, again, I don't want to get into details. I'm aware of the public nature of this meeting, but let's just suppose this sniper is somebody we wanted to catch very badly. Could we apply all our technologies and all our capabilities and all our know-how against that person, or would that person be considered to have protection as an American citizen?
That person would have protections as what the law defines as a U.S. person, and I would have no authorities to pursue him.
So the answer is that person has some protections just by being in the United States of America, and if that act were actually taking place overseas, we would be able to bring more to bear to deal with it. That's a fair statement?
Yes, sir, that's right.
Like, I'm not sure everybody in this country understands just how many safeguards we have for American liberties, and I think it's very important to underscore that. There is a price for it, and we are trying to find the balance and what that price is. And I appreciate your answer to the question.
Sure.
Finally, Director Tenet, you didn't seem satisfied with the amount of time you had to answer a question of some dispute about a matter in New York. Would you care to use the time to elaborate
Not at this moment, sir. I think that there is we have a different view of what happened there, but let's
Well,
work through that.
For your comfort zone, let me tell you that I think that we do understand that there are two stories, and when you put it all together, it does make some sense to what different people who are doing their job responsibly thought, and I don't find an inconsistency in it. The last question, which I will not ask because my time has expired. Thank you.